Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. We're back on the low compression, no start 200 ES, and I was just thinking about it. You know, the compression came out wet at about 60, and I was thinking, God, if I could get this thing to start and run for a couple of minutes, maybe the rings will reseat and maybe it'll feel a little better and be a little happier anyway. So we have the portable CDI box on there. Just put a fresh charge on it, which gives me a little, just a hair more spark. Right, I replaced the carburetor with a brand new Keihin PZ27. You guys can see I got the portable gas tank and all on here. So I'm going to set up the camera. We'll give it one more shot, see if this thing will do anything. Hopefully it doesn't do anything like catch fire. I hate when that happens. So let's hope for the best. So I think you guys could see everything you need to see, including the exhaust. So that's already on. That was brilliant to leave it on. And everything's hooked up, nothing shorted. Starting fluid. Wow. Starting fluid. Let's see what this puppy's gonna do. Let's hope for the best. Wow, can't believe it started. By the way, I did squirt some oil down the spark plug hole, so that was like a one-time shot. I gotta say, I am a little curious to see if the compression came up, because if it did, that means this engine might be savable. I'm also a little surprised it wasn't smoking more. If the if everything's really buffed out, right, if the piston bore is really buffed out like one would think it is, you would expect it to be smoking like a banshee. So anyway, you know what, let's put the compression gauge on and give it one more look-see. So for a compression test, you always make sure the carburetor is breathing to the maximum. So I pulled out the throttle slide, make sure that's off, because you don't need an uncharted inferno. And let's see if the compression came up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, nice. So it came up to 90 by faking it along to start. So how did I do that? So the first thing I did was I swapped out the carburetor. I put a brand new Keihin PZ27 on it. So that maximizes the possibility of it starting, and I put gas to it through the intravenous gas can. The second thing I did is I took out the plug and I put a lot of oil in there. Turned it over a little bit, put a lot more oil in there. Made sure that the spark plug had a very small gap, really small gap, and I didn't spin it in all the way. I really left it, I only spun it in a few threads because I didn't want the oil to get right up to it and put out the flame. This is the starting fluid I used, and one could sit there and go, starting fluid is starting fluid is starting fluid. It really is not. Some starting fluid seems to have a little bit more boom boom than other starting fluid. It's kind of the difference between gasoline or kerosene or diesel fuel. And let's go the next step to motor oil, right? Obviously gasoline, a little bit of a spark and it's going. Kerosene, if it's hot, it doesn't take too much to get it going. Diesel fuel, unless it's really hot and misting, it's kind of tough to get going. And motor oil has to be really hot and really spread out, almost wicked into something to get going. So different types of starting fluid have different ignition points. And the ignition point seems to be pretty low because it allowed it to start. Pulling it over by hand, it was never going to start. I couldn't get it going fast enough. So it did take, the jump pack is freshly charged. The recoil, or the electric starter, is freshly cleaned out and tweaked for the best I could get out of it. And by doing all that, it started with 60 psi wet compression. 60 psi wet compression, which is crazy low. That's like 30 psi dry compression. It started with 60, and now that it's run for a few minutes, it's up to 90. So I consider this whole thing a crazy good success. The carburetor seems to be dripping a little bit or taking more fuel than it should be for the couple of minutes that it's run. I mean, it's like pulled that much fuel down already. So I'm going to pop that carburetor off, pop it open, make sure that everything is good in there, and then I think we're going to try to get this thing out for a ride. So it's been sitting for a few minutes, right? Not quite a cold start, but it's not a warm start either. And here we go. I see 12.3. Looks like the choke's on. You guys think it'll start? I don't know. How well did we fix it?
I don't know if you guys heard it, the transfer case was kind of grinding there.
So this thing is, wow, this thing is mean on gas. I adjusted the float in the carburetor, but even with that, this thing is pretty mean on gas. So I'm not quite sure what to think of it. Anyway, this thing is rising from the dead. I was ready to give up on it, push it out back, you know, steal the forks off of it, and a bunch of other stuff. But it looks like this thing has the potential to live for and fight another day. So couldn't be happier about that. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Every once in a while you win one. Anyway, I need you guys to keep your feet down. I need you to keep your heads up. And I really do want you to get out there and enjoy each and every day. They're all a little different in their own way. So get out and have some fun. And if you're not having fun, figure out how to have some fun. All right. Take care, folks. Bye now.